of COVID and how the judiciary has adjusted, we may perhaps have to think of introducing, Mr. Chairman, other methods, not just the internet, but other methods through which people in whatever part of the country are able to access the court lists in courts to know when their matters will be coming up either for hearing or for mention. And some of these terminologies, sometimes my view is that at the Judicial Service Commission, as a policy level, we should be able to advise that let's explain to the public when you say a mention, because I've seen a situation whereby a case is listened for mention and a litigant is ferrying witnesses because they don't know whether is mentioned hearing, is the case going to be tried, things like those. I think it calls for more robust awareness creation by the judiciary itself. But I just also appreciate this system which we introduced of court users association, as when it is fully implemented, it's going to help a great deal in enlightening members of the public and litigants in particular about the court processes. Where a person is seen to be just lazy, then appropriate disciplinary action should be taken by the JSC. The member for Teso South, Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Mary Amase, raised the issue of matters to do with corruption. Whereas I take it that in most cases we see these matters only with respect to criminal prosecutions. Indeed, I want to agree with you. Some of these corrupt matters, cases, are within the civil section of the judiciary, because some of those contracts, sometimes you find that they are tainted with aspects of corruption. And for me, I think public information is the way to go. And I'm happy, Mr. Chairman, that indeed the President is leading from the front and has put everybody on notice, particularly public servants, that if you have a long hand, you are unlikely to survive in his government. So public information and public awareness is important. And as you know, these bodies, both APNAC and GOPAC, really, they act as bodies that create awareness, but within the parliamentary setting, within African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption, and at a global level, again, is a global organization of parliamentarians against corruption, so that they act as bodies that help to create awareness within the setting of parliaments, both in the continent and the world over. The Honorable Gikaria raised the issue of hustlers who don't understand about who are not aware that there is legal aid. And legal aid is one of the functions of the Office of the Attorney General, I must say. And my view is that that is an aspect that the Office of the Attorney General should take seriously, given that the majority of our people hardly know or understand some of those processes, judicial processes. Indeed, it is against the Constitution. It's against the Constitution in the Bill of Rights, Mr. Chairman, to mislead a person who's been arrested to make a confession, because that's amounts to a confession. And I think the Office of the Attorney General needs to be much more proactive by providing information. And there is I would be suggesting that in terms of Article 6, Clause 3, the Attorney General's Office as a state organ should endeavor to devolve its services to the lowest level possible and in doing so, actively engage the public. And there's nothing wrong even going on television. An Attorney General should not feel that they occupy any special position. Should go to television and explain to the public some of the things that that your office is doing. But on a more positive note, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy that His Excellency the President has indicated, and I hope honorable members will take this positively, that cabinet secretaries, including the Attorney General, will now get an opportunity to appear before the floor of the House to explain some of these functions where there is need and whenever Parliament desires to get that kind of information. And I myself, as you know, I have been the greatest proponent of that process where, government functions and policies should be explained to the people's representatives on the plenary of the House, because that way you end up creating greater awareness than you could possibly even do through television appearances. So, Honorable Chairman, in response to the Honorable Gikaria's question, that's what I would say. Again, more and more robust engagement with the public. Finally, Honorable Chairman, the issue raised by the Honorable Mishimboko is a very serious one, because I know for the last almost 8 years, this is a matter that has, exercised the minds of, the legislature particularly, and various committees of the House. But I think if we implemented